Alright, welcome back everybody. In this video we're going to be creating the dynamic price feature. So I have just cloned the Yelp Camp version 12 into my C9 workspace and I renamed it dynamic price. So you can clone it or copy it, duplicate it, call it whatever you like. And if you want, you can change the database name so it'll have its own database. I changed mine to version 12 and that way we're not overriding any pre-existing data. We don't have any conflicts there. Okay, so let's get started. So in one window, make sure that you're in the tilde directory and open up MongoD. That's our Mongo daemon. Once that's running, we can open up another directory or another tab with the parent directory for our project, dynamic price, and we can run nodaemon. For those of you that didn't watch my last video, nodaemon is the same as running node app.js. This is a module that allows us to not have to go back and restart the server every time we make a change to our application. So I run nodaemon and you can tell it app.js. If you run it without putting app.js in there and it fails, it's because your package.json is not pointing to the correct file. So if that's the case, just make sure you use nodaemon app.js. I know it's going to work either way, so we'll get it running. And now that our server is started, I can refresh it down here. I'll go ahead and open it up full screen. And when we click view all campgrounds, we can add a new campground. It wants us to log in. I actually don't have an account on this database yet, so we'll create one. And now when we go to create new campground, it asks for the name, so we can say hello world, just a little test name here. Go ahead and find a picture, so I'll plug that in, and then this is a campground will be our description. So when we submit it, here it is in the index, and when we click on the more info, it'll take us to the show page, and by default it's telling us that it's $9 a night. So we want to change this right here to where we can enter in upon creation a value for the price of the campground. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our code here. And the first thing we want to do is edit the model such that we're able to actually store a price on our campground. So I'll close that real quick. Okay, so in our models we have campground.js, and just right below name, you could put it below any one of these, but below name I will put price, and we'll make that a string and save this file. Now we need to go into the views, campgrounds, new.ejs, and we need to add an input in our new campground form to allow the user to put in a price whenever they create a new campground. So I will copy what we have here. This div form group has an input inside of it, and this is for the name. So right below that, we'll just paste this in and fix the formatting real quick. And the input, class, form control, that's all fine. Type equals text. Here, we're going to change the type to a number. That way, when the user inputs it, they can't input any type of string. We only get a number value from them, and then we'll just store that number as a string into the database. So the name, of course, will be price instead of name, and the placeholder will also be price, and then we need a min value, which we'll set to 0.01, and then what's called a step. And a step just indicates that there's going to be a little up and down arrow on the right hand side, and it allows the user to step up by 1 penny. So they can go from 1 penny all the way up to obviously 100 pennies and then into the next dollar amount. Okay, so now that we have that, we'll save it. And we'll go ahead and copy this and place it into our edit form. It's going to be a little bit different. So right below name, we plug this in. Of course, you have to fix the formatting. And over here, we have to put campground price. And this is because this edit form, the way Colt has it, is in the router, we are building a object on rec.body called campground, and then that campground object has a bunch of keys name, price, image, description, and they point to the values that are coming from the inputs in this form. At this point, we don't need a placeholder, but what we do need is a value, and then we'll actually have to change this to EJS and plug in the campground.price value. Okay, so if we save that, now we can go look at our form. It's probably going to want us to sign back in. Yep, so we'll log in real quick. And if we go to add a new campground, here we have our price, the up and down arrows as I indicated. It can't go any lower than 0.01. And if you want the campground to be free, you could change it to 0.00. But when we go up, this is that step I was telling you about. It allows you to step up by 1 cent. And then, of course, when you get to 99, it's going to roll over into $1. So we'll say that this campground is, I don't know, $9.50. And then the name of this campground, we'll just do a Hello World 2, super creative. Go ahead and grab another campground image real quick, plug in the URL, and the description will be, this is an awesome campground. Woohoo. Okay, so we click submit, and now if we go view Hello World 2, we still see a $9 a night price here. So that means we need to go into the show.ejs for the campground and change it to where it actually displays the dynamic value coming from the campground object. So if we open up the show.ejs, this is a views campground show, and we scroll down to where it says $9 a night. And what we can do is, where the $9 is, we can just plug in our EJS little clown hat syntax here. And we'll put a campground.price right there, and then we'll leave the /night, and we'll leave the $sign on the outside of it. So if everything's working how we expect it to, we should be able to refresh. And okay, so it's not displaying the amount here. So now we need to go back to the router and make sure that our post route for campgrounds is allowing this value to get stored in the database to begin with. So I will go back to routes, campgrounds, and it's our second route here. So we have name, image, description, author, etc., but we never made a variable for price. So variable price is equal to rec.body.price. And now inside this new campground, we have name, comma, name, or name, colon, name, comma, and we could put price, colon, price, comma, save it. What we'll do now is go back here and edit this. There's no value here, so we'll just enter a value, $10.46. It's a weird number, but okay. So $10.46 a night, so that's working correctly. And if we go back to Yelp Camp and we create, oh, that's our landing page, and we create a new campground, now we can say, let's do something creative like Clouds Rest, I believe is one of the ones from the default. And to save time, I'm just going to reuse the same image as before. The price will be $101.99, and sounds more like a radio station, doesn't it? Description is going to be, this is where the clouds plural come to rest. Submit. Okay, and if we click more info, there it is, $101.99 a night. And if we go back to, we can just click back here, Hello World, the original one, it doesn't have anything, so we can go edit and fix it here. We'll say, okay, this one is $8.50 a night. Submit, and there it is. So now all three of our campgrounds have prices, and we're able to edit them and add new ones with a price to begin with. Okay, cool. If you have any questions, just post them in the Q&A section, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.